So I'm going to give some breakdown of the layers, the categories, and the reward framework. So obviously assets. Let's use the land for example. So ensuring your reward structure reflects the assets staked or owned by the guild, and utilising the configurable distribution percentages can be modified as the asset base evolves. So the example below is showing the variable number of assets. So for example, example 1 has got high worth stakers with 200 assets, knights owned, so that would be my assets and your assets, 200, and then the guild owned would be 200. The proposed share would be 40, 30, 30%. As we evolve as a guild, and we start getting more stakers, or our knights start staking more assets, you can see that we're trying to reflect the percentage to reflect distribution of the assets. The key note is the guild owned assets will be capped at a minimum of 10%. So if you own a shield, or if you own a helmet, or if you own a shield or a sword or any of the future NFTs, you will be drawing from a minimum of 10% of that reward regardless of the distribution. The reason we're doing that is we need to provide long-term incentive for early investors in the guild, because you guys are making this guild what it is. So we've got a low limit cap on that. And again, this is what is being modeled at the moment. In this example, so that's just talking through what I've just said. So Josh, this is quite an important part of the guild on the reward framework. So have you got any questions on this?
No questions. It's all very well thought out and structured, and I want anybody watching to know that it is all subject to change, but we've built this with the foundations in mind of what our original vision was that Moody went over in the very beginning. So that is the intent, and we're dedicated to that, and this is all built around that philosophy.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks. Any questions in the chat? No, I can't see. Cool. Right, so the next mandated category is the Treasury. So I'll read through this. Each NFT asset group will have its own treasury. The main purpose for the treasuries is to provide a budget for that asset class to develop its assets. Okay, so if we've got 1 million, that's a bit of an exaggeration. If we've got 1,000 land assets, and we're just taking reward, and we're not developing those assets to be more productive, to have a better river or a better set of trees or whatever, that's got diminishing returns. So the treasury, under the voting of that asset group, is used to develop that asset group. What we are proposing, and again this would need to go to a vote, is that we would impose an early development funding. So and ignore the numbers, 1 to 8 is just representing time, but what we would propose to do on certain asset groups is not pay out any rewards until we're comfortable the land is developed to an optimum level of reward. And we will, under each of the asset groups, come up with an early development funding. So it makes total sense. When you need to invest to generate reward, don't you? And this is based on that principle there. So again, it would all be under voting, but each of the a select few of the asset pools would have that early development funding option. So that covers that. Is there anything you want to cover on Treasury? I will be touching on this again in the Complete Night reward pot, but is there anything you want to pick up here, Josh?
No, let's keep it rolling. Cool. I think you got it all.
Cool. Okay, and then the management section. This is covering the reward for each of the reward pool's management team and the administration of the guild. So this is currently a lot of people's evening and weekend jobs. People are doing it as a hobby. People are doing it because they've got a real general interest. But at some point, and we need to remember, at some point in the future, this will take some serious management and administration. Yeah. So for us to be able to attract great people, which we've already got, but we will need to grow that team. For us to be able to attract people to come and help manage and administrate that guild, we need to give them additional incentives. So that is why we've got a management pot, and that will be basically an incentive to lead and run the guild. And then we've got knights and players. This is only specific. This is only relevant in some of the asset classes. It is assumed that all assets resources in the game will have an adjustable inbuilt split between asset and owner shares of generated resource. This is a reasonable game mechanic that will incentivize asset owners. This is a common approach used in other management MMOs. So what I'm talking about there, if you own land and you put your land into the Cornucopias game, you will more than likely have an owner's reward of whatever is generated in that land. Yeah. The players, when they come and chop down their trees or do some mining, they will get the rest. So I'm imagining in my head almost like a sliding scale of, I've got a mine, I own this mine, I'm gonna take 5% of all of the resource generated in this mine. The 95% goes to the players or the grinders mining that mine, because the game needs to provide incentivization to own land, but it needs to provide incentivization for people to play land, regardless of guilds. Yeah, so that's a really important structure, a really important concept, and it is an assumption that will evolve as we get more information from the game. But I imagine it'll be something like that. So the reason I've actually covered that in some detail is the players will retain all of the assets and resources they personally generate. The asset owners' share will feed the asset group reward pools. It is a reasonable assumption that the larger the asset base the guild holds, the more competitive and attractive to the players our assets can be. So if we have got a monopoly on, so let's say we own 2,000 plots of land, we can really reduce the share or be really competitive with other guilds and with other landowners. We can reduce our cut to make it more attractive for players, because players know they'll get more from coming to work our land, and they'll also know that they're going to get an additional bonus from having our Knights NFT. So this is where that common incentive. But like anything in life, the more assets you have, the more competitive you can be. Yeah, so that's the point we're making there. All of the players will be issued with an NFT that will have an in-game player profile reference. This will be via an API, so we can actually calculate what the players are doing on our land to structure their reward framework, their reward payout. And then we've got other, which is a final category. This has just given us a bit of leeway. Have I got some examples here? As the game develops and future assets are developed and information is released, there may be the requirement to have an additional or specific reward category. The other category will be built in from the outset to future-proof the reward frameworks. The other category could also be used for significant partnerships or with other guilds or projects. So that just gives us a capability to expand and to go into different agreements on certain asset types. Whether we use that or not, I don't know, but I wanted to build in some future proofing. So what we've got below here, and I'm not going to read through these in much detail, but I've shown some examples. Is that a question just popped up?
No question. It looks like it is a comment. Genius Knight is saying that he just agrees with everything that you're saying. We need to be worthy of the players that play and work the land and contribute to the guild, and that is ultimately what's going to make us more competitive.
Brilliant. No, it's great to hear. I mean, I've played games all my life, and you've got to get that balance right. And I'm a strong believer. I would rather have a lower, consistent reward with security that reward is going to be prolonged, rather than a big bang, we're going to take 20% of everything and then all the players bugger off where they're taking 15%. It's common sense, it's life. So the example here on the sword, so the sword is for the dome assets. We are envisaging that on top of the core categories we will have configured layer 2 and layer 3 for the asset group. The reason for that is we need to reflect the size and the rarity of the dome. So, for example, when you've got your epic legendary, we need to reflect that in your payout, because that epic legendary is more than likely going to generate more revenue for the guild. So that's why we've got those layers there as an example. Yep. So the next one is the helmet, which is copy assets. We're not envisaging any additional configuration in that. That is just a straightforward asset management and treasury. We don't know what the copy is going to do yet. I mean, we were talking about this in the leadership group the other week. I personally think we're better off just sat on that copy for 2 years until copy reaches a calculation. I'm not a financial advisor, but say copy reaches 50 cents, we're going to have 2 million copy. Now we would then go to the holders and say, are we going to cash these in and distribute those funds? Yes. So that's why the reward framework is quite basic on the helmet. And then the final example is the shield, and this is for the land assets for those that don't know. So this, in my opinion, is the most complex we will probably get to in the configuration of a reward pool. So as you can see here, we've got the free core. In the assets, we've got layer 2 and layer 3. And again, this is to capture number of plots and rarity of the land. Management, we've got 2 layers in the management. And then we've also got the worker categories. So this is the example I used earlier on, we need to incentivize people to come and farm our land. So we will have 2 layers there, one for performance and one for consistency. So if we drop down to this this is almost like a translation from the above. So this is probably easier to explain. So you can see for the the asset structure, 75%, and then you've got high worth stakers. So layer 2 is Wales, Knights and Guild, and layer 3 is number of plots, and then NFT. So that's a layer in there. The workers this is why it's 2 layers. Layer 1 is for the Knights, and layer 2 is for the high output, medium output, and low output. If you remember back to the API to check performance, so that's why we need an additional layer there. Management is standard 5%, free 2%, and then the treasury is 5%. So that, I believe, will probably be the most complex reward structure we will go into. This is for demonstrational purposes only. We're modeling this at the moment. We've got no information on the economy. What I'm trying to show here is the category and the layering capability we have to make sure that we've got a fair and consistent payout. Josh, there's a lot of information here. You know this approach well, but is there anything jumping out to you that I may have missed that I need to elaborate on?
No, you know what? I think I do want to point out that in the layer 3, and this was something that I pointed out early on when I first joined up, we want to make sure that the contribution the reward that you're getting is proportional to the amount that you're contributing. So it's not just number of plots that you've contributed, it is based on the amount of the size lands that you have provided, because the bigger that the land is, the greater opportunity the guild has to be able to make the most of each square footage, or however it's measured.
And likewise with the players. That's why we need that layer to recognise high performing players and low performing players. Now that is on output, it's not on time. Yeah, because some smart players will generate the same output in half the time of some not so smart players. On a Twitter space the other day, Josh, you were saying how poor of a gamer you are. And we might get some really good gamers who can generate exactly the same productivity in half the time. So that is based on output, not time. Okay, so that's that there. Is there any more questions in the chat? I can't see. Okay.
Nope, no questions.
Cool.
We're good.
Right, so the next section, income and revenue, as you would imagine, is quite blank because we are waiting for a lot more information for the game. This will be structured around what our forecasted and strategies are around the play to earn, build to earn, learn and earn. And also what's really important is the guild and district rewards. I strongly believe that the game needs to make the rewards for guilds pretty big, because they haven't got the people power or the capacity to manage the community. That will be the guilds. The guilds will take on a lot of that administration and management in the game. So the game need to have enough incentive for guilds to form. They've alluded to district rewards. That might be one element, but who knows? There might be a percentage of cut for all of the guild that they get as a bonus, and it's equal by the game. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that is going to be a key income and revenue to our guild. And then we've also got our newly established Knights Guild Catalyst Committee. This isn't relevant to the game. Well, it might not be, but this is something that Josh and Juju are leading. And Josh, do you want to just add some comments on our Catalyst community?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of developments. I don't know if you've kept up with it, but there is an opportunity here within the Catalyst community that may actually generate some revenue for the Knights Guild.
Okay.
And that'll probably be something that we discuss how those funds will end up being used. But
okay.
Really, this is a community building event. It's a community of people that are passionate about Cardano, a community of people that want to contribute back to the greater Cardano ecosystem and not just within Cornucopias or within the Knights Guild. And it's a great opportunity for people to learn about what's going on around here and earn some extra ADA as they do it.
Brilliant. I listened to your first session and it was brilliant. I loved it. And I think we've got a great opportunity here. I didn't realise that it could actually generate revenue for the guild. I thought it was, but no, if that's where it's going, that's great. We need to get something in here actually over the next few weeks on to explain that a bit better. And it might not fit in this section, but anyway, we can cover that at a later date. So moving on to the guild NFTs. So basically, our guild has 4 groups of NFTs. Okay. We've got the Complete Night series. Most of the people listening on the call know what the Complete Night series is, but I will go through it in a bit of detail. We've got our staked asset NFTs, which I touched on earlier. We've got our player and rank NFTs, and we've got other guild NFTs. So I'm just going to run through what each of these groups are, because it's really important and it is almost like the bedrock of our guild on how we will move forward. So the Complete Night series, ultimately, that has 4 purposes. One is to raise funds for game assets. So we raised a significant amount of ADA with the sale of our shield, and we bought 200 land assets. The second purpose is to provide incentivization for the longevity of staking or playing. The third item is it's a claim mechanism for reward pools. And the fourth purpose is we want to merge all of our NFTs so we can mint the Complete Night, which will generate the Complete Night bonus pot. I'll touch on that in a bit. Okay, so I'll quickly read through this. To provide long-term incentive for members and stakers, there will be a guild event where series NFTs will be burnt to create the Complete Night NFT. The Complete Night will be given rarity based on the number of series NFTs burnt, and the utility will give access to claim rewards for the Complete Night bonus pot. Prior to any series NFT being minted, the guild leadership will model at the time the utility of the game's assets for sale and go for a business case approach to calculate the quantity and price for each NFT. So each future Night Series NFT, as we get the information from the game, we will do a level of modelling and we will do a business case so we know what the price of that NFT is and the value of that NFT based on how many assets we feel a guild needs. The intention is that the Knight Shield, the guild's first NFT, is the most prestigious of the series. All other series NFTs will not have such scarcity, therefore making the maximum number of mythical complete knights 555. That's a really important number for our guild. The guild will always retain 10% of the quantity for marketing purposes. Achievement NFTs, so these are the NFTs in the Knights series that are not used to buy assets, okay? Achievement NFTs provide stability to the guild asset base and provide additional incentivization for players. A number of the series will be claimable after periods of consecutive commitment. That's either playing or staking. Remember, we're inclusive. So if you play or stake with the guild for a period of time, you can claim an achievement-based NFT. The time frames have not yet been decided. These NFTs will be very low priced. In some cases, we may partner with a charity or a project we're trying to support or something like that, and a nominal donation will be made for the claimable NFTs, but we will keep these cheap, okay? It is assumed that once the requirements have been met, these will be, once you've met the requirements to claim an NFT, these NFTs will be unlimited. So we don't want to limit the number of complete knights that can be minted on the achievement NFTs, so they will be an unlimited number. Each NFT will capture either the player or the asset staker's ID within the metadata that will ensure compliance at the complete knight merge stage. So what we're saying here is these NFTs, the achievement NFTs, will be sellable on the secondary market. Okay, and when you come to mint your complete knight, you would have had to have you will have to demonstrate that you or your wallet has achieved that achievement NFT, that you haven't just bought it from the secondary marketplace. So we will capture your player or your asset staker NFT ID in the metadata of the achievement NFTs. Okay, we don't want people to not sell these on the secondary market. That's part of the fun in NFTs, but we don't want people to buy a complete knight. We want the complete knight to be earned. So here is the conceptual view for the complete knight. It's currently 13 NFTs. It is all based on armor or weapons of a knight. The proposed purpose is down there. As you can see, land, domes, copy. We've got one for transport. We've got one for bubbles. We're also looking ahead to next season when we've got zones 4 to 6 land, year 2 domes, and then we've got our achievement ones in there. That's kind of conceptual. The numbers, as I touched on, will be based on the business case prior to mint. 555 will always be the lowest, most scarce NFT. To mint a mythical complete knight NFT, you need to have all of the series. However, if you have the helmet NFT, the helmet NFT will all get airdropped or you can claim the helmet NFT for free. Okay, we added that utility to a helmet quite recently. So long and short of it, the mythic complete knight, you need all of the NFTs. The legendary, you need 11 of the 13. A rare complete knight, you need 10, 9 and 7 for common and uncommon. As this white paper evolves, we will drop into this white paper because a lot of them are blank, obviously. The purpose, quantity and all of that stuff. This is a live document. So that will be updated.
Quick, Moody,
yes.
I got a question for you.
Go for it.
So you were talking about the achievement NFTs, and we want to make sure that they are tied to players that earn them.
Yeah.
In order to mint the full knight. Let's say a player earned said achievement NFT and then sold it on the secondary market. Are they forfeiting their if they don't go and buy another one, let's say on secondary markets, or if it's possible to earn another one, they don't earn another one, they are short that
yes.
NFT.
Yeah.
Will they have to like go down in a rarity of their full knight that they mint?
Yes, they will. And also what we will so when you are doing an achievement NFT claim, you will be able to mint the number of the series NFTs you have. So for example, if you've got 5 Shield NFTs and you've met the achievement of playing consecutively for 6 months, you can claim 5 or as many of those NFTs. So you're not limiting your complete night. Yeah. But if you don't have an achievement NFT that is linked to your player profile, when you go to mint the complete night, it won't consider to be part of that burn. So if you sell it on the secondary market, you'll have to try and buy it back, the same one, through the unique ID, which will be quite tricky. But yeah, the point there is we don't want to limit the number of complete nights that people can earn or achieve, but we don't want people to be able to buy a complete night. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
No, good question, because it's something we need to. That is where the metadata will be really critical to make sure that we're not running people short. Okay, the complete night merge. The intention is that for this NFT, the complete night merge is when we have a big guild event and we actually allow the merging of all of our NFTs. So the intention is for this NFT to be awarded, claimed or purchased at a significant guild event to celebrate the end of the Complete Night series. We've got some great ideas what we're going to do here. I have a World of Warcraft Ragnaros battle in my mind in one of our domes, and when we kill him or her, then the hammer NFTs are all thrown out everywhere. Each asset NFT will contain a credit for the Complete Night. We've covered that. When the merge burn event takes place, all series NFTs will be burnt and each NFT will become a corresponding attribute on the Complete Night. The reason for that is so you can still claim from reward pools. The Complete Night bonus pot will remain inactive until that event. So the Complete Night reward pot takes a bonus from each of the asset treasuries, and that goes into a pot which contributes to a Complete Night bonus pot. We will not draw from the treasuries until this event, because again, we don't want to dilute the money we've got to develop our land.
Yeah, real quick. We got Lava asking, once a Complete Night is minted, will I be able to sell it?
Yes.
And the new owner can receive the rewards generated from it.
Absolutely. Inclusivity is all about giving people a choice and the freedom of choice and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you've earned and worked your way to get a mythical Complete Night and you want to sell it, absolutely, someone will then get your rewards from the pot. So the Complete Night bonus pot, to provide long-term incentive to a guild and allow the guild to continue to grow guild-owned assets, there will be a long-term incentive and additional rewards for the Complete Night. Funds will be pulled from each asset group reward pool's treasury category. The percentage is not yet determined, but that pull will contribute to the Complete Night bonus pot. The bonus pot will then be distributed and shared between the number of Complete Nights in the rarity categories below. The bonuses will be claimable using your Complete Night series. So this graphic here is showing the conceptual nights bonus pot. So as you can see, we've got the requirements, we've got the maximum number of that rarity. I think the common and uncommon are wrong. I think those numbers will be a higher maximum. I need to double check that. And the proposed split is here, as you can see, 45% for Mythic, 25, etc., etc. But we are modelling that. So if you've got a Mythic Complete Night, you can claim from each of the asset pools with the attributes. You can then claim your Complete Night bonus, which is a share of 45% of the pooled treasuries into the bonus pot. So the Complete Night will be quite a valuable NFT, especially if we've got 10,000 players running around in our guild, generating revenue and income. So that is the long-term incentive. Okay. Lots of questions have come up. Oh, that's great. What do we do after the complete night is done? We would end the series and we would probably start a new series. That might be the complete night mount or something like that. But we would not, we've got option 1 here. One of the options is we augment the complete night. We will not do that. That will cause too much problems with the bonus payout. So it's very likely that we will start a new series.